My name is Aaron Novello. I am from sunny South Florida. Right here is our hometown.
We're going to talk now about social media, right? So social media, any type of form of lead generation, how do we take people that are engaging with us, liking us, and turning that into an actual customer or client?
Yeah, so what we're doing that's really working is strategically something called story brand. So every story that you've ever watched, every movie that you've ever watched follows a particular format. And we've been telling history, like stories throughout human history for a very long time. And they have the capacity to hold humans' attention unlike any other technology, right? And every story that you've ever watched, every movie you've ever kind of, partook in, it follows the same format. There's a hero who has a problem. And the hero can't solve their own problem because if they could, there would be no story, yes?
Yes. Yeah.
They meet a guide who then gives them a plan, who calls them to action because heroes don't take action on their own accord. They need external prompting. And then the hero gets what they want and they avoid what they don't want, yes?
Yes.
What's interesting though is when you really break that down, who's in terms of characters, who's the weakest person in the whole story? No, he's the second weakest. He or she's the second weakest person. The weakest person is the villain. So Voldemort doesn't even have a body, yes? Okay. Who's the second weakest person? The hero. So does Harry Potter know that he's the best wizard on the planet? Does he know how to use magic? He doesn't actually at the beginning. He doesn't know how to use magic. He has to go to, where does he have to go? He has to go to Hogwarts, yes? And who's the strongest person in the whole movie? Whole character? Who? Dumbledore, who is the guide, yes? So here's what I think is true, and I mean this lovingly, okay? 99% of you use your media as a mechanism to gratify your ego, not to position yourself as a guide to help people to solve their problems. Yes? So let me ask you a question. How many people are posting, look at my new listing? Who's the hero? Here's me at a closing. Who's the hero? Here's me working out, which I don't know why any of you post that. Because nobody here's a personal trainer that gets paid to do that, correct? Which is, well, there's one in the room, right? So, but do you see what I'm saying? So what we're doing that's really well is if you've noticed, how many people have interacted with me before in media? Show of hands. Good, I need to be doing a better job, so more of you have your hands up. But do I ever position myself as the hero? I am a what? To help people to solve what? And we're all looking for guides to solve our problems. Yes? Health problems, relationship problems, financial problems. So that's what we're doing, it's really working, and we're doing that via YouTube because what we found is, and Krista knows this, and I'm sure everybody else does, if people consume 15 hours of your content, they're going to engage with you in some capacity. Well, in order to get that on 60-second reels, somebody has to watch 5,200 posts. In order to get that on long form on YouTube, even if they only watch half, they only need to watch 30. So we're applying story brand format on YouTube, which is causing people to reach out to us on a regular basis.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so far we have the common thread of being real, being human, developing your brand. All right, so I'm going to say research a lot because I'm a freak about research. I used to be a teacher. The research shows that the more that you can solve a problem that somebody doesn't know that they have, the more somebody will connect with you. Okay, so let me give you an example. First of all, how many of you are a little bit nervous about doing video and social media? Raise your hand. Okay, there's a lot more of you.
Everybody's hand should be up.
You guys are liars. I know there's more of you out there. We're all afraid, right? Because people are judging us. Well, here's the deal. They're going to judge you anyways. They're going to judge you. Let them judge you for what you're doing right. The second somebody will stop judging you is the second you solve their problem, kind of exactly like Aaron said. So if you are doing content, remember, the more you speak to everyone, the more you speak to no one. If I was to say, right now is a great time to buy a home, if I'm a veteran and I don't have good credit, let's say, I don't have a lot of money in the bank, I don't think I have the ability to buy a home. So if I say that, they are absolutely tuning me out. However, if I say, are you a veteran with bad credit and no money in the bank? Do you know that you have the ability to possibly buy a house? And by the way, veterans, thank you so much for serving our country. Because you served our country, there are loan programs out there just for you.
Before this session, I was trying to think of what I could bring to the people that showed up to bring value, because I think we all use social media differently, or we want to, and I think there's no one right platform. I think you have to find what works for you as an agent, your personality, and your marketplace. So what I have to bring to anyone that this could possibly work for is niching into your local community and providing cross-promotion and partnerships with local business owners, because that is something that has propelled my business and our team's business. So just to give you an example of what I'm referring to, we have giveaways every holiday. We call it Holidays of Giveaways. And it started with us buying different prizes or different pieces of whatever a business is offering in our local community and giving it away for free. So we were spending money and then giving it away for free in a like, share, exchange to build our social media following. Now, fast forward 7 years later, we partner every year with 40 to 50 locally owned and operated businesses, and the donations are all coming from those businesses, and they're upwards of $100,000 worth of prizes, free to us, free to the people that win them, for liking, sharing, and propelling our brand, and in turn, we're promoting their brand. And when you think about who your local business owners are and your local business operators are, those are most likely the people that are buying and selling real estate in your community. So it's something that if you want to simplify getting likes and turning them into leads and closing them and getting paid, that was something that we have found so reasonably achievable for everyone that is choosing social media as a lead generator.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to continue to focus on strategy, because I know that our tendency when I'm in rooms like this is people like to get lost in like the minutia of how to create the content, right? Like AI or this type of thing. But without strategy, if you're not positioning yourself as a guide to help people to solve their problems and you're not calling them to action, nothing happens. So the intention and purpose of getting attention is to monetize that attention. Yes? I'm sorry, am I in the right room? Yes? That's the whole purpose. Not to like gratify your ego, not to be like, look at me, I'm working out, look at me, I'm on vacation, because you're not positioning yourself as a guide to help anybody, okay? So if you noticed, I was noticing as Krista was giving you that example, so I think strategically if I give you this, so instead of saying, here's a home that I just sold, yes? Who's the hero? And do you know what heroes hear when you do that? They say, oh, Austin's a hero just like me. I wish I could stop and listen to what he has to say, but I'm too busy trying to find a guide to help me to solve my problem. Do you understand? So instead, what Austin can do is like, here is a homeowner who had this problem. They were facing foreclosure, and they weren't sure if they were going to be able to transact and actually make any money. Here's the 3-step plan that we use to accomplish this. 1, 2, 3. They meet a guide who gives them a plan, and then here's what Austin did. He was able to sell his home and get this money. So if you want to have a confidential conversation about how you could get your home sold, DM me the word sell. Now, that last part there is called a call to action. Do you know what people do if you don't call them to action? Nothing. They just watch you. And most of you guys don't ask them to do anything. So what would be examples of calls to action? If you want to learn more, be sure to follow me. Yes? Krista does that all the time. You want to learn more about videos? Be sure to follow me. Yes? You're asking them to do something. Right? Or another one would be like, hey, if you want to have a confidential conversation, DM me the word, whatever that word is, buy, sell. And there's a program called ManyChat, which what that allow you to do is when somebody hits that DM, it'll instantaneously send them something, an Eventbrite to book to your event, or a Calendly link to book to what it is that you're doing, or to meet with you to have a consultation about buying or selling a home.
And it will do it automatically.
Automatically, like real time, like as it's happening. So again, the critical thing here is strategically. So what she's saying about like, I'm sorry, your name again? Jessie, there you go. So what Jessie's saying again about like, she's positioning herself as a guide in her local community. Yes or yes? Yes. To help people to solve there you go. Do you understand? So if you don't take anything away from this, if you look at a piece of media and you realize you're the hero, you're doing it wrong. If you're not positioning yourself as a guide to help people to solve anybody's problems, you're just using it as a mechanism to hope that like somebody watches it. And that's the wrong metric to be paying attention to.
So let's talk more strategy. Strategy? Okay. Yeah. So now you have this attention. All right. First of all, I have a trademark that I say it's called earn the right to ask. You need to earn the right to ask. And how do we do that? We do that by adding as much value as possible. Right now, there's research that says that between like 30 and 50,000 marketing messages that we get every day. People asking for things, right? You opt in, people are like, buy this, buy that. How many times do you like see something you're afraid to click, right? We're afraid like we're gonna get spammed, they're gonna, you have to earn the right to ask. So once you earn the right to ask by developing a relationship, solving a problem through consistency and being seen on a regular basis, right? Not making it about you, just as Aaron said, making it about them and helping them.
What's the best way to show somebody you can help them? By helping them. And media is an unbelievable mechanism to show people that you can help them by helping them already, yes? Because what I can do is I can imagine a world where you can send the digital version of yourself, which is a better version of me, It doesn't get sick, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't get quit, it doesn't get hungry, right? And I can send thousands of these digital versions of me into the world to formulate parasocial relationships with people so they can decide if they know, like, and trust me, right? And again, once you get that consumption thing, so there's a gentleman in the crowd here who is completely across the country, okay? He called me one day, he said, bro, I've watched 100 hours of your content in the last 90 days. And he said, I want to partner with you with EXP. I said, do you have any questions? What do you think he said? No. Send me the paperwork. So the best way to show somebody you can help them is by helping them. So what you need to think about is, who's your avatar? Your avatar is your ideal customer or client. And what are their problems? So if somebody's moving to a geographic area and they're brand new, what do they want to know about? They want to know about the schools. They want to know about the parks. They want to know about, I don't know, like cool things to do and festivals or places to go and eat and all this other stuff. So if somebody's been consuming content for the 6 months before they move, who do you think they're going to call? Because they feel like they know, like, and trust you away. And you've helped them already by helping them.
And they are looking 3, 6, 9, 12 months in advance. And your goal is not to show up when they're looking, but to show up way before. There's a certain ceiling. Many of you are just doing things like open houses, cold calling, door knocking. That is one-to-one marketing, okay? There's a ceiling to how much money you can make because you're doing one-to-one. When you market online, you are marketing one to many. So as people are engaging with you, engage back, right? Engage back with them, talk with them, say something personal about them. Don't ask for business, don't ask for a referral, just talk to them and be a real human being.
You said something, Krista, which was interesting, and I believe that this is true, is that if you're a terrible marketer, you have to become a rock star salesperson. I'm going to say that again, not because you didn't hear me, because I'm a recovering rock star salesperson. And I was a terrible marketer, okay? Is that if you're a terrible marketer, you have to become a rock star salesperson, okay? And what I will also say to you is you can make up for with leverage what you lack in ability, right? So I would sit in a room 3 hours a day, prospect 6 days a week. I sold over 100 homes a year, 10 years in a row, 2,000 transactions. That's cool. What's the problem with that? It's one-to-one, and I physically had to be there all the time. Yes? I was the guy who would make fun of people that were on media. Stupid, dumb, don't do that. Yes? Okay. If you looked at my channels 3 years ago, is my wife posting pictures of our children. From that to this year, 2 million views on YouTube. 69,000 hours of watch time. That is 7 hours of human life. Let me ask you a question. How difficult would that be to do in the physical world? You have to be like Taylor Swift to be in front of that many people, yes? So what I want everybody in this room to understand is that you have, I don't have mine on me, we think that little device is for entertainment and productivity. You have distribution in your pocket, it's free. Do you understand? How talented did you have to be to get on a radio station years ago, 50 years ago? Very. How talented do you have to be now to post something on YouTube? Nothing. Guys, listen to what I'm about to say to you, okay? 10% of all TV time, TV screen time now is YouTube. It's more than Netflix. Netflix is 7.8%. You have the ability to have your own series on Netflix on YouTube.
For free.
For free. And what you're doing, oh my God, Susie's doing this, I can't believe that, yay, and you're entertaining yourself. Yes or yes? Yes. So 3% of the population creates, 97% consume. Who do you think makes all the money? And I just want to be a creator, guys. So I would implore you, okay? Get over whatever stupid, ridiculous, nonsensical reason you're saying to not do this. We live in a world. Do you think Kim Kardashian is the sharpest knife in the drawer? She's a billionaire. She parlayed attention into Skims, and she is a billionaire. Do you think the Logan brothers are the smartest knives in the drawer? He created Prime Energy Drink. He will be a billionaire at 30. Guys, use these platforms. Don't use them to consume. Use them as a mechanism to position yourself as a guide to help people to solve their problems, or just sit back and watch other people do it.
Yeah, and actually it helps your mental state too when you think about the anxiety that it takes to put your phone up and talk to it. When you have something valuable to give to somebody and to distribute, it feels so much better. When you know it's value added and it's not ego based,
Yeah.
it's so much easier.
Well,
and then you're going to get people engaging with you.
Well, that, and it's very timely, okay? I want you to listen closely to what I'm about to say to you. If you can get half the population to hate your guts, you can become president of the United States. You guys are all worried. You know how many people comment on my posts like, oh my God, I can't believe it, his hat, his beard, I don't like his jeans. Who cares? Okay, how many, in 100 years from now, everybody you know will be dead. Everybody. Why are you caring what other people think?
The idea, don't care, right?
Don't care.
Do you know how much money do you spend for 30 seconds for the Super Bowl? 7 million just for the 30 seconds, not to include how the cost of the actual commercial itself. Okay? You know the brands that did it? Google. We all know who Google is? Mm-hmm. We know Google. Pringles. We know Pringles, right? Homes.com. We all know these people. Why would they be marketing and paying $7 million for 30 seconds plus the $10, $15 million it costs to make the commercial? Because they understand the power of attention. Attention is currency. And they want to make sure that you are remembered. Have you ever gone, it's happened to me, you ever been at Costco, you see, first of all, how many of your clients love you? Raise your hand. Every hand should be up. Your clients love you. You do a great job, yes? But you go to Costco and someone's like, Krista, I just bought a house. I'm so excited. And you're like, oh, we bought one too. And you're like, oh my God, how did that happen? It is your fault because they forgot about you. And somebody else was in their feed, somebody else was at their door, somebody else caught their eye, and people will move on. I have an idea because we've got about 10 minutes left. So my thought was, I haven't seen this yet, but I think it would be valuable. Would you guys like to ask questions? Would that be helpful to ask questions? So my thought is, if we do, can we come up to the front and let's come up front and ask questions, and then we can kind of all elaborate? Because I feel like I want to make sure that you guys get your questions answered, and then we'll each, 20, 30 seconds each answer, and we'll let them.
So I have a big question. So obviously there's YouTube, there's Instagram.
Yeah.
How do we feel overall about TikTok?
Yeah. So here's my. So okay. So
Hold on. All right. I love TikTok. I mean, TikTok for me, I get every video that I post, I get anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 people, sometimes 20,000, 30,000 people looking at me. And I, unlike Aaron, I like to do things like when I'm cooking because I want people to get to know Krista, the personal side of Krista. I want to do it with my hair in a hot mess. I do it while I'm getting my makeup on. I want people to get to know the personal side of Krista and not just business Krista, right? And it's very important for me. I will tell you, when we talk about niching, I have so many students that will just specifically focus on wine or baseball or golfing, and they will make that their niche, and people will absolutely start coming to them for real estate because they have commonality, right? So I love TikTok. My bread and butter personally is Facebook. I believe to pay to play. I can get 500, 600 hours of watch time for $200, right? So I know I love YouTube too. I use them all. But for me, if I can spend $200, right, the cost of maybe a really nice dinner, and get 500 hours of people seeing me in my local community so I can target them and retarget them and make sure that they actually see my content over and over again so I'm constantly being told, I see you everywhere. I see you everywhere. That is one of the things that I like. Yeah, so I think the way to think about this is not platforms, but types of content. So there's short, medium, and long, right? And you have to build an ecosystem of attention that brings people from short to medium to long. Short form is TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts. That's like sitting in a room with 1 billion people and you go like this, hey, why would I even listen to you? Like, who are this person? Why would I listen to you? The goal then is to get them to longer form. Because remember I told you about that 15 hours? You have to watch 5,200 posts to do that on 60-second shorts. The other thing that I would say is YouTube, in my opinion, is the best hands down period end of story for 2 reasons. Number 1 is it's the only platform that does short and long well. Number 2, who's their parent company? Google. So you have built-in search. Number 3, they're the only one that actually has a profitable model because you can put ads on long form content. You can't, TikTok's trying to do it now. If you notice in your feed, they're trying to put an ad at the end, right? The other thing that I would suggest, I see people get myopic. They get good at one thing. We just recently had for 7 days, I was banned from DMing. Really? So these platforms, I need to understand, they can decide like this. And I don't even know what we did. And they'll be like, You DM too many times.
Maybe, I'm DMing too many people. So what happens though is they're like, hey, guess what? You're done. So what I would suggest is I wouldn't, I know the tendency is to be like 1. Right. I would be on all of them and I would be thinking short, medium, long.
I'm a little bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And I have YouTube. I know. So I have YouTube and I find it easier just to do home tours. And because when I want to give that value, I'm like, well, I get in my head, I get anxiety, and I'm like, what if I give something misinformation, and then I'm going to have trolls, and then I'm going to have people
Yeah.
who don't trust me, and it just
Real quickly, I want everybody to hear what I'm about to say to you. Perfectionism is the fear of failure in disguise. The way that media works, I have no idea what goes viral. I will look at something and be like, that's a banger, and like 5 people watch it. And then something that's like ridiculous that I don't even remember I said will have 1 million views on it. So the goal is you're thinking, what do I want to create? And what you should be thinking is, what do the consumers actually want to see? So you need to reverse that. And then the thing with the tours is it gets views, but like they can get that online, anywhere. So you're not really adding that much value. So instead I would do it again in a story brand format. How can we position, I'm sorry, your name? Jennifer, as a guide to help people to solve their problems, not just open doors and say, isn't that pretty? Here's what I want you to consider too. So somebody else who's in this room, who's in our organization that I convinced to start to do media, he told me one day on a coaching call, he was like, yo, it took me like an hour to shoot a piece of content. I said, do you know why? He said, why? I said, because you're acting. Listen to what I just said to you. You're acting. You're not being yourself. Because is it difficult to be Jennifer? No, only you can do it, yes? And what we need to understand is that what ends up happening is authenticity is the best form of advertising. So some people I know for sure don't like me in this room. Okay? Don't like what I'm saying, don't like my hat, and that's fine. Other people vibe with me. And what happens is you attract your tribe and you push away people that aren't your tribe. And you actually want the bad comments. Do you know when I see bad comments in my DMs, I'm like, yes, I'm so excited. Because what does that mean? All of those haters, do you know what they're doing without realizing it? They're pushing your content into the universe more.
And we are done, but let's just 15 seconds, I'm counting 15 seconds, and we're gonna your final words, 15 seconds.
If it's not worth doing for a decade, it's not worth doing for a day. It takes a long time to get any attention. I didn't get any meaningful amount of attention until this year. 2 years of posting into a void. So if it's not worth doing for a decade, it's not worth doing for a day.
That is great.
Yeah. I can't top that. I'm just going to say, don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. It's really not that difficult. You just have to do it.
And it's special about successful people? Nothing. There is nothing at all special.
Well,
Thanks, girl. Feeling good up here.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. The year is my son's 13, yeah, so 2010. We were doing a lot of transactions, probably 89, chugging towards 100. My wife's pregnant, and she happens to be our operations manager, which is dope because I don't have to pay her.